Hello everyone, welcome to Yoga Upload. I'm Aylward. Today's video is a tutorial how to do dancer's pose. We'll go through proper alignment and also some of the poses you can do to help prepare your body for dancer's pose. Just a clarification here, what we're doing today is not the pose Natarajasana, or sometimes called King Dancer's pose or Lord of the Dance pose. What we're doing today is kind of a more accessible version of it, or a baby dancer pose. Now you can use today's pose to prepare you eventually for the full King Dancer's pose. This is also sometimes called a variation in standing bow pulling pose. Now this is just a little side note here so you don't get confused if you see different versions of the pose or the pose called by different names. All right, let's get into some basic alignment. What is the basic shape of the pose that we're trying to do here? So I'll do it first on one side with my standing leg. The foot on the floor will be my right foot. So set your foundation there, bend your left knee, left arm out with your palm facing away from you, and I scoop my foot from the inside. So this is the variation we're doing today. Grab either your ankle or maybe the top of your foot. Once you have that, keep your inner thighs and knees together. Don't let this lifted leg come out to the side. Keep the hips, the knees, and the chest still facing the front of your mat. We'll lift the right arm up. Keep your gaze steady at one spot. Now this is already great for improving the strength of your standing leg and your balance, but to come into dancer pose, we'll add a back bend to this. Kick your left foot into your hand, and that action will propel the body forward. Now balance that kicking by lifting the chest up. So as you kick, lift the chest. As you kick, lift the chest. Keep your gaze forward or even slightly up. Reach the right arm up. Keep the hips, the chest, the shoulders facing the front. And breathe. Kick the foot into the hand, lift the chest. And just find how far you can go. It doesn't matter where that might be. And just very slowly ease out of your pose, coming back. So the hips are still facing the same direction. Let that foot go. Relax the legs and the arms and take a few breaths. Now, if balance is really a challenge for you, you can start out by using the wall for support. So you might have a wall to your side. Get into your pose, or the wall might be in front of you, fingertips on the wall. That way, you can focus on the kicking action in your lifted leg and on keeping your hips and your shoulders facing forward and not letting this lifted leg come out to the side. Now let's talk a little bit about what we're working and stretching in this pose, what you might be feeling once you're in the pose. So I'll do my other side this time for balance. So shift your weight to your left foot, and we'll go through a little bit more detail this time. Set your foundation, spread your toes, make sure they're not gripping the mat. Lift the inner arch of your foot, firm that thigh, firm your core. Right arm to the side with your palm facing away from you, bend the right knee, scoop from the inside. So here, I'm really working my standing leg, standing foot, strengthening that side. Big stretch here in the front of our hips, especially your lifted leg, your hip flexors, your quads are being lengthened here. Nice stretch across the front of your body, belly, your chest, the shoulders, especially the right shoulder in this case. Keep the inner thighs and knees together, so you're also engaging your inner thighs here. Keep your gaze steady at one spot, left arm up. So this arm is also working just by holding it up. Now as you kick, propel the body forward, lift the chest. Deep breaths here, concentrate and just be patient with yourself. Make sure the leg is not coming out to the side. If it is, then maybe you've gone too far. You can stay a little bit lower here, that's fine. This pose is really good for improving your strength, flexibility, especially in standing leg, and this right arm and right shoulder. Also patience, coordination, balance, and concentration. Kick a little bit more, lift the heart and breathe. And carefully come out. Same way you came in. Relax, let that go. There's a lot going on in your dancer's pose. It's considered more of an intermediate standing balance pose. So there are a lot of poses you can do first to prepare your body for dancer's pose. One would be your very basic mountain pose, because that teaches you how to set the foundation for all your standing postures. So like I mentioned earlier, toes are spread and relaxed, lift the inner arch, firm the thighs. Now, what you want to avoid in these balancing poses, one-legged balancing poses, is hyperextending the knee, meaning really overstretching the back of your knee. So to avoid that, you might have a tiny bend in your standing leg. That's okay. The leg still looks straight, but there's a tiny bend there. I'm not locking the knee. I'm not I'm making it overly rigid. So mountain pose or any other one-legged standing balance pose will help train your lower body to set the foundation and to make sure you're not hyperextending or overstretching the back of your knee. Second pose or set of poses that you can use to prepare your body is the lunge or your low lunge, Anjaneyasana. So typically if I teach dancer's pose in class, I'll make sure that before I get there, I'll do a series of low lunges. So here in your low lunge, I stack my front knee over my ankle and I gently press the hips forward to feel that stretch in the front left hip, left thigh, preparing myself later on for dancer. It's key here to firm the glutes, especially on that left side. Feel that stretch even more in the front left hip, left thigh. Draw your tailbone down, so I'm not overly arching my lower back here. Keep the breath going, whatever pose you're doing. So that's a good stretch right here. Any variation of your lunge that you'd like to do, you might add a bit of a back bend, lift the heart. That challenges your balance too. When you take your gaze up, little practice for balancing and breathe. Another thing I like to teach before dancer's pose is a different version of your low lunge that mimics dancer's pose. So I'll show you what that is. I'll do my other side. So my back leg now is my right leg. Firm glutes, point the tailbone down, and I'll rest my hands on the front thigh. You might just stay here if this is enough of a stretch for you, or if you want to practice, start lifting that back heel up, bringing your heel closer to your hip. That mimics the action in your dancer pose. And if you want to add on the arm as well, right arm out with your palm facing out, scoop from the inside if you can, and bring the heel closer. Now here, again, practice keeping the hips, the chest, and the shoulders facing the front of your mat. Last step, if you want to add this on at this point, is to lift your left arm up. You might even look up. So here is like a floor version of your dancer's pose. Another great pose you can do to prepare the body is your bridge pose. The great thing about bridge is it prepares your lower body, your abs, and your upper body for your dancer's pose. So get into your bridge, lift the hips, firm the glutes. So you're lengthening the front hip, front thighs, engaging the glutes, strengthening the hamstrings. That all helps. Stretching the front of the body. Lift the chest, walk the elbows closer together. So you're getting the stretch in the chest and the shoulders here. Engaging the arms by pressing them down. Breathe. Great way to prepare for dancer's pose. Another thing you can do is back bends on your belly. Now I'm pregnant while I'm filming this, so I'll show you footage from older videos. You can do your locust pose or shalabhasana, half floor bow, and even your full floor bow. A few more poses I'd like to mention, poses that stretch the upper body, chest and shoulders specifically. So a standing back bend, simple standing back bend will help you with this. Hands on your low back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Point the elbows back. Point the tailbone down. Hips forward. Lift the chest. And look up. Breathe. Another more intense way to maybe stretch chest, shoulder, and the arm would be a wall stretch. Two versions of this. So you can start with the elbow bent 90 degrees. Press your forearm against the wall and then start to move away from the wall. Just turn as far as you can go without pain, and you feel the stretch across the chest, shoulder, and arm. Then do your other side. Another more intense version of that stretch is to keep the arms straight. So have your palm against the wall, and your wrist, your elbow, and your shoulders are all in line. They're all level. Press against the wall as you turn your body away from the wall. So a little more intensity in the stretch, but it's essentially doing a very similar thing to that first stretch. And then to release, turn back towards the wall, relax the arm. Those are not the only poses you can do to prepare yourself for dancer's pose, but those are some very effective ones, and there are many others that you can explore. I do have a class I'm posting that features dancer's pose. Make sure you check the description box below so you know when it's coming out. I hope that was helpful. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.